6.2 The Technical Model. Firstly, what is the technical model? So it's the tool to assess sporting performance and measures qualitative data, which is the overall quality of performance instead of using numbers, like the notational analysis. For example, in tennis, for a serve there is a three-stage process of performing this: the preparation, acceleration, and follow-through phase. This can be assessed by using the technical model to see how well a performer does. To find the perfect model, you could use literature or looking at elite performers' techniques, which is likely to be the perfect one. The three-stage process is also known as preparation, execution, and recovery, which again shows how to execute a certain skill in sport. Then, the method of collecting the data for the perfect technical model could be using video analysis and watching an elite performer and copying their technique. For example, in football, watching an elite performer to see their technique on a shot. But another way it could be achieved is by using literature and reading how to perform a skill, maybe a rugby pass, for example, and learn how to do it from that. Obtaining the skill from a elite performer or from literature, it should show the three stages of how to complete the skill in the perfect way. There is also software which can help analyze a technical model. These are SlowPro, which slows down a recording so it is easier to break down the skill; Coach's Eye, which allows you to record clips of your players with any camera and break it down into slow motion, as well as drawing on the image to show the shape of the performer, for example. The box out rebound in basketball is a technique that you use when defending after the opposition has taken a shot. As you can see, I'm using an elite performer, Blake Griffin, who demonstrates the three steps to doing this skill perfectly. It starts with the preparation, where he gets his body position, where he has his hand on the attacking player so he knows where he is and can't lose him. And he also gets down low so his body is more spread out to help with blocking off the opposition. He must keep his eyes partly on the ball and on the player, as well as the basket, but when he turns around looking where the ball is going on the net so he can react to the ball bouncing off the backboard ahead of his opponent. He must keep. If they get the preparation right, then they will have the best chance of beating their opponent to the rebound, as the bounce off the backboard or rim can be very unpredictable. So, getting in front of their opposition is important. The execution phase is also important. As you can see, the performer needs to explode and jump to catch the ball at its highest point, as you can see in the central image. He catches the ball after jumping up to get it, and when he lands, he is in the recovery phase where he attempts to find the pass to a teammate so they can go on the counter-attack. He also needs two hands on the ball, and the term is to chin it, which is holding it by his chin to stop any players dispossessing them. Also, when pivoting with the ball, the players are advised to hold it on their thigh, so if anyone tries to knock it out of their hands, it will just hit their thigh and not go away. Then the player will try and find a pass to go on the attack down the other side of the court. Now I analyse my performer by watching recordings of how he did the box out rebound. As you can see in the picture, I was watching his how he did in the box out rebound. I took screenshots of three different points of preparation, execution, and recovery, and I will compare this to the body position of Blake Griffin, which is the perfect technical model. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to use any video footage, any software, and just had the video footage of the game. Firstly, for the preparation phase, the perfect technical model is getting low down and spreading your body out to cover more area, making contact with the opposition player so you don't lose him while looking where the ball goes. Comparing the two, the model on the right, my performer has contact with the opposition player and his eyes on the ball, but the one area for improvement is he could get lower down and bend his legs to cover more area so the opposition will find it harder to get past. and potentially beat them to the rebound. The execution phase, the perfect model, shows jumping up off 2 feet to claim the ball after it has hit the backboard ahead of the opposite player. Comparing the two, there's slightly different points in the model, but the technical model has already caught it. The only main difference is that the performer jumped off 1 foot rather than two, so wasn't able to get as much height on his jump. So if, for example, if the bounce off the backboard was a bit higher, the player might not have been able to get it as they weren't able to get enough height off their jump. So that is an area for improvement. For the recovery phase, the perfect model has their back to the opposition with the ball in their hands, looking for a pass out to go on the counter attack. And they're also, again, at slightly different points, but my performer has already caught the ball, has just caught the ball, and is looking already to go on the attack. The evaluation of the technical model. Advantages of the technical model are it can be paused and divided into phases. So this is very useful for individuals, as for example in football, maybe a defensive play, the coach can pause it and then divide it into how they could have improved their performance in that situation. Yeah, and another advantage is it could be shown to the player to show their errors, and then hopefully the next time they can improve on those errors. You can also use the slow motion effect, which helps with the analysis. For example, with a tennis serve, doing it in slow motion will help slow it down and be able to plot the technique which they need to adapt to. And then finally, it is in a lot of detail with the technical model. Rather than just being told it, you can see it for yourself. Sometimes you don't really know that you're doing something wrong. So seeing it for yourself will help you know that you have done it wrong, and where to improve it. Disadvantages of the technical model. For high quality analysis, it can be very expensive for software like Coach's Eye and Slow Pro. You need to pay for them. So it's difficult to afford for small teams or youth teams. And then another disadvantage is, for example, if you can't afford the high quality equipment, you just use a camera, the quality of the video can be poor in some situations, which isn't very good, and isn't helpful to see areas for improvement. Another one is you need technical knowledge to be able to use the software, or just use video footage. You need to know how to use it. Yeah, and then finally, with a sport like basketball, it is a very fast sport, so sometimes difficult to capture areas, and all the performers individually. Um, yeah, it's very difficult to single people out as it's very fast. Yeah, and that's everything.